nice to see you again. How are you doing? That's lovely. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. No. 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 Yes. Well, that is a story best told over a cup of tea, don't you agree? Yes. I can. Yes. I've made some, actually, if you would like a cup. Yeah. Alright. Hold on. I have it right here. Here you are. Yes. Well, that's very nice. I'm glad to hear it. Me? Oh, I just got back from a meeting. The world meeting again. Yes, it is rather late, isn't it? I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't wake you. You were already up. You sound like me. I have trouble sleeping as well. Not all the time, but a lot. It doesn't help when my brothers decide to just show up randomly when they're not welcome. Yes. What was it about? Nothing of importance really, just the usual, taxes, the general rankings of the states and America, whatever. Doesn't really matter, nothing that will matter in the long run, just things that give Germany an excuse to hold a meeting, I guess. I'm sure you've had meetings like that yourself. What's that? Oh, I don't know if Flying Mint Bunny would like to go to a meeting. I've never asked him. I've always just assumed that he had better things to do than sit in a room full of arguing countries for 4 hours or so. This time it was a bit short, but it still lasted, I say, about 4.5 hours, give or take. Oh, I have no idea how many I've been to. Too many. I'm too old for this, really. I'm a lot older than I appear. Well, I'm not the oldest. My brothers are older. But I am quite old. America is quite young compared to me, actually. He still has a lot to learn. He grew up rather quickly in comparison to a lot of other countries who had a lot of time. Like Italy, for example, he's a lot older than he appears. He's almost as old as me. Not quite as old as me, but maybe, I don't really know, maybe he is as old as me. We didn't have a lot of, we didn't have very big travels or anything like that when I was young, so I don't really know how many other countries were born around the same time as me. I guess born isn't the correct word, more like manifested. Yes, what? Where was I manifested? I was manifested somewhere towards London before it was anything amazing. And no, what happened was I wasn't really ever born. It was sort of something that happened over time. And what happened was there were a lot of my brothers, I guess you could say, I don't remember what the correct word is, not tribesmen, but like not really savages either, but like people that lived where Scotland now is that weren't very civilized. They were barbarians, I guess you could say. They weren't very nice people. And Ireland and the Nordics, the Vikings, they were pillaging this area of Scotland. That is now Scotland. It wasn't Scotland back then. It was, I don't remember what it was called. And Ireland, I think they pillaged Ireland a little, but they also traded, so Ireland kind of got away with a lot of stuff as opposed to my brother Scotland and I. And I didn't exist very much at all back then. But the Vikings found, like, they sort of civilized over time their own area with their own people, but they also kind of mingled with these people that lived in Scotland before they ever showed up. And they started having children, etc., etc., and then they started moving downwards, as well as the Vikings themselves went downwards to sort of make, to sort of, I guess, populate that area. And I sort of manifested from that over time, and I didn't ever really, I guess, I didn't manifest in London. What am I talking about? I'm thinking of a completely different thing altogether. I'm so sorry. It's been a long time. My memory kind of fades now and then. But I sort of just appeared one day. And my brother found me. Yes. Scotland, oh, he's a interesting person. I don't hate him, though. He's my brother, so there's bound to be a bit of disagreement now and then. But no, you're gonna make me say this, aren't you? I do love my brothers, and I'm hoping that they love me, but I'm not really sure sometimes, especially with Scotland. No, I don't hate them. I love them quite a lot, actually, which is a reason why I don't really want them to leave. But, you know, we have our disagreements, but we make amends, like everyone else. I suppose you could say that. America, well, I was a bit cross with him for a while, yes. And he does like to bring it up and shove it in my face now and then, but for the most part, I'd say we've come to an agreement with one another. Who? Oh, you're talking about Canada. I'm so sorry. Yes, he's a sweetheart. He's much more well-mannered than, yes, Alfred is his name. I do think that Canada tended, I think he has a secret sadistic side, if I'm being honest. Every once in a while he'll say something and it's so sarcastic and snarky, and I swear Francis must have had a very bad influence on him. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. uh, do I miss what? What was that? I don't really know. I do miss bits of my pirate days. It was fun, I admit. If I could go back for a day or two, I think I would. But there was a lot that came with the pirate sort of stuff that was not very, it's not something that I would go back to. But it was enjoyable back then, and I would do it again for a few days, but I think a few days would be enough. I do enjoy the comfort of living right now. Mm-hmm. Yes, he does bother me quite a lot. It's alright. France shows up in my house now and then, and I'm not really sure why. The recent one, he showed up in my living room while I was doing needlepoint, and he was just sitting on my chair, reading a newspaper, eating cheese, and I was so confused because at first I didn't even notice he was there, which I guess goes to show how long we've seen each other. No, I didn't mean it like that. No, I meant see each other, like, in person, not, no, we're not we're not in a relationship, no, God, no, please, don't joke with me like that, that's not funny, ugh, I don't like to think about that. He probably would, honestly. But anyway, he showed up in my house, and I didn't know he was there until, it dawned on me that there was a Frenchman in my living room, and I kicked him out, but I have a feeling he's going to show back up again when I least expect him. He could be here right now, honestly. Mm-hmm. China? What about China? That was a long time ago. Yes, well, I don't dislike China. I am rather fond of a lot of the things that he has done, or he can do, or, whatever. And as his own person, not the country. Sorry. As his own person, not the country, I do admire him a bit. But I don't, I don't really talk to him that much, honestly. Everyone asks me that. I really don't spend a lot of time with him. He's quite a ways away from where I am. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Japan. Well, I do like a lot of, I'm not as big of a fan of Japan as America is, but I do like Japan, yes. Ever since the war has been over, I quite like Japan. He's very polite. He likes tea, like me. He was quite the adverse foe during the World Wars. Actually, he was probably one of the most dangerous foes that we had encountered. Like, everyone always puts all the blame on Germany, but in fact, Japan was quite the foe. He was very tough to beat because he never gave up. He never surrendered, which it goes against his beliefs and his moral system, I guess, to surrender. So he gave it his all, really, which I admire that about him. I didn't admire it at the time, but looking back, he fought for what he believed was right at the time. No, I don't hold anything against them. Every country has its ups and downs over the years. Even America has had some ups and downs. I think he currently is kind of going through a bit of a downer period, if you know what I mean. Not horribly so, but enough that he hasn't been in the best of moods lately. Yes. I'm alright. I mean, I'm not amazing, but I'm not upset or anything. Everything is decent, so yes. What was that? Russia. What about Russia? Russia. He's a bit intimidating, but I don't dislike him, I guess. Well, you see, what happened was I was summoning a dark spirit. I can't quite remember why, but he appeared on the other end, and I'm not entirely sure if that's saying something about him or if that's saying something about my magical abilities. And don't tell anyone I said this, but I think I may have said something wrong in the spell. I think it may have summoned what I thought was demonic, as opposed to something that actually was. Because I don't really, I don't think that he's demonic. If he was, I'm sure he would have been gotten rid of a long time ago. Yes, he's actually quite a nice man when he's not trying to murder you with his pipe. He has very interesting cooking. Yes, my cooking. Well, for some reason, a lot of people don't like my cooking, and I'm not quite sure why. I mean, even America, he says sometimes that my cooking isn't as good as his, or it's not as good as it could be, or something, but he used to eat it all the time when he was younger, so I'm not sure what his problem is, really. I mean, I can understand France's problem because he's always made fun of my cooking. He's always sort of said that his was better than mine, which I can't argue with, but France's food is actually quite good, I admit, but I'll never tell him that in person because his ego needs to deflate a bit. But America, I mean, he used to grow up on my food, and a lot of his food is based on the food that I fed him. So I'm not sure why he always says my food is bad. And as for other countries, I mean, it's sort of a matter of preference, really. I prefer scones and fish, chips, biscuits, tea. I also like sausages. Yes, comforting food, I guess. I also am a rather big fan of takeout. Don't tell anyone I said this, but I probably eat more takeout than my own cooking these days. Chinese takeaway is probably my favorite ever. I also like curry. Surprisingly, I can't tolerate spicy food too well, but with how often I've been eating curry lately, I think I've built up a tolerance to it. So maybe next time I go to the southern states and visit Alfred, I won't die. Yes. Which state is my favorite? Well, I don't really have a favorite state. I usually only go to the big areas. DC, I go to New York. I've been to Houston, Austin, Cincinnati, all the big cities, I guess. Philadelphia. I've never really gone recently, I've never gone anywhere outside of those cities. I did a long time ago, but that was a long time ago. Things have definitely changed since then. Maybe I should sometime. Oh, that sounds nice. Yes, I'm sure he would love to give me a tour, honestly. The problem is, if I let him give me a tour, I'll be there for like 5 years, because he'll try to show me everything, and I don't have time for everything. As it is, I'm very busy myself with my own country, and my country is even half the size as his is, so yeah. Well, I do think it is rather weird that he drinks tea cold. It's, like I said, it's a matter of preference, really, and where he lives, sometimes sometimes the year, his country can get quite hot in some places, so I can imagine why he would drink something cold. But for me, personally, I don't think there's anything better than a nice cup of hot tea. I like my tea with a bit of cream and some sugar, but I have been known to just drink it plain before, if I'm lazy. Well, I mean, I don't hate McDonald's per se. It's not my favourite in any part of the world, really. What I find odd about it is that it seems to get worse the closer to the United States that you get. Yes, if you get McDonald's here in England, it's not horrible. It's not very good, but it's not horrible. If you get McDonald's in, I don't know, Estonia, it's actually not that bad. The chicken is pretty good, or at least it was the last time I went there. But if you go get McDonald's in America, it's just not very good. I'm sorry, it's not the worst thing I've ever eaten, but it's not the best either. I really don't eat a lot of fast food. I eat a lot of takeaway, but I don't eat a lot of burgers, honestly. I really don't eat that much anymore. I go through phases. Sometimes I eat a lot, sometimes I don't eat anything. Lately I've been sort of not eating a whole lot. I generally eat about one big meal and then some small snacks here and there. I kind of snack all day, or biscuits and tea. Yes. I wouldn't recommend it, no, but, you know, that's what I've been doing. Oh, that sounds interesting. I should try that sometime. Well, yes. Oh. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it is rather late. I am getting a bit tired, but I'm always tired. That's nice. Well, I'm very happy for you. Thank you. I hope the next meeting isn't as long either. I mean, I did my best to pay attention, but they are rather long-winded. I can't get mad at the other countries that don't ever go, because they're quite boring meetings. And Germany usually takes charge. Every once in a while someone else will, but it's generally him that takes charge and makes sure everything is done. The thing is, a lot of people think that he likes the meetings, but he doesn't. He doesn't like them at all. He likes taking charge and having everything organized, but he doesn't actually like the meetings. And so he tries to get them done as quickly as possible, while still doing everything that needs to be done. Yes. I don't really know. Maybe. I used to take charge, yes, but I've sort of given up that role for the most part. I just, you know, I've been doing it for quite a while, and it's very tiring to do it all the time. When I did it, the meetings were, first of all, they weren't nearly as long, and there weren't nearly as many countries that partook in the meeting that we had. And they were very far in between. It was usually every few years, as opposed to every couple of months. Yes. I don't know. The last meeting I held was probably sometime after the Second World War. I don't really know exactly what day. Yeah. I sort of let America take over for a while. I was very tired, you see, from having to help rebuild a lot of things that had been damaged and such. Yes. And I had other things to worry about at the time. Yeah. Oh, you sound sleepy. Oh, I'm so sorry. Have I been keeping you up? I apologize. I'll leave, if you want, yeah. He has. Well, you can tell Flying Mint Bunny to leave you alone, and he will. I didn't know you could see him, really. I thought you were just being nice. Well, that's kind of a relief, really. You're the only one besides myself and my brothers that can see him, and a lot of times they pretend that they can't, just to mess with me. Yes. Well, I'll I'll tell him if I see him. I'll tell him to let you sleep. Yes. Alright. Thank you. Well, I could make scones for breakfast if that's what you want. I'm not promising anything, but I'll do my best. Yes. Well, I'll let you go to sleep then. I need to head off to bed myself.